Right then, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson, tactical preview of Manchester United against Brentford. And this is a big, big test. 3 o'clock Saturday, home, Brentford. Why is it a big test, D? Because of all the factors that surround this absolute circus of a club at all times. And not to mention that this is audition time for Thomas Frank. He was a bitter little man, but one that I think probably finds himself on an increasingly shorter shortlist to be the next Manchester United manager. And what better way to nudge yourself even further up that list than putting on a bit of a masterclass at Old Trafford on a Saturday afternoon in front of your potential new employers. And it's also a game that could dictate our season. The odds are in our favour, like the bookies have got us as favourites for this one, but I don't know if I do. You know, United are looking at injuries all over the gaff when it comes to this game, so there's a lot to figure out. Now, United have typically played well against Brentford at Old Trafford. We've won all 3 of our last head-to-head games. Away from home, Brentford's league form has been pretty poor as well, and they've lost 4 of their last 5 league games away from home. But either way, there is a challenge for us to face here. They're currently sat 3 places ahead of us in the Premier League. They're 11th, we're 14th. And injury-wise, United have just added Mainu to an increasingly problematic list. And Luke Shaw could be in line to return. I don't think United are going to make Luke Shaw return quick. And if he does return, he won't be starting, is my take on this one. Supposedly Malacia has stepped up training. It looks like he's going to be still ruled out. Mazraoui is obviously still going to be recovering from the procedure that he's had, and I think he'll be unlikely to feature against Brentford. His return date is TBC, hopefully by the end of the month or early next month. Now, if we look at how Brentford play, they've been scoring goals early, and that's the first thing that United are going to have to prepare for, because while you're not scoring goals, you have to start with being absolutely flawless at the back. If you make mistakes at the back and have to try and then chase a game when you've got an opposition that goes, cool, we're 1-0 up, we'll just take it easy now, that's problematic for us. We don't need to be doing that. So if they start fast, we're in trouble. So United have got to prepare for that. And they've actually got some pretty intriguing tactics from kickoff. Prior to the draw against West Ham, Brentford repeatedly had this rehearsed 4 or 5 passes of a kickoff routine. And they believe heavily in making an impact from that. And to be fair, why wouldn't you? Like, what an awesome little jab that is to throw out if you can make something happen from the whistle, literally. And I think if they try and make an impact from that, and you know, there's a complete understanding of who plays what pass, and you can almost treat it like a bit of an American football sort of play. You know where the ball's going to land. You know who needs to make the runs onto it. That plan seems like it's become a little bit second nature now. This is like, what do they call it in like American football? Like Red Route D1 or some shit like that. So this is what they're doing. And this is the story of Thomas Frank's tenure at Brentford. It's been about rehearsed plays rather than freedom and off the cuff. There are a lot of set plays in what he does. They practice their patterns of play and they insist on working them until they succeed. And that's a worry for United, because they are miles better drilled than we are. And for this reason, I think we're going to unravel against them on Saturday. Now, in general, they play what you would recognise as a 4-3-3. That occasionally diverts to a 3-5-2. The change in formation is usually used as a bit of a defensive deterrent for an opposition. If they're coming up against a team that they think is going to stick one on them, they might roll into the 3-5-2. And I think, almost to illustrate the point, when they get to Old Trafford tomorrow afternoon, it won't be 3-5-2. It'll be 4-3-3. Because I think Thomas Frank's going into this game saying, oh, we can beat United. Now, he has bred a highly technical culture within the squad. He's brought in a bit of a Danish core, and that's bred a style of football that is inherently obsessed with holding possession, as well as having a little bit of physical nous to outrun and also sort of outmuscle their opponents. Now, they have that in abundance with Norgard and with Jensen, who are both very good technically, very much full of energy, and combined with like the creative force that they've got in Damsgaard, they can overrun a midfield if given an opportunity. And when I look at how United are going to line up in this game, That's my primary sort of concern. And one thing that you're going to get for sure with Brentford is they're going to try and pick up the ball and they're going to try and play through you. They're not just going to smash it into the channel for a percentage ball. They're going to try and get the ball down and they're going to try and play football. They can go long. They are capable of creating chances from like unconventional stuff on the counter. They've got rapid forwards, Shada and Bueno, Wissa. They can all get after something. And Bueno himself has marked himself as an early Golden Boot contender. Like, you can't even fathom someone at Manchester United going, stick a £5 on me for Golden Boot because that's coming. You can't, can you? Now, they're powerful defensively. They seem to prioritise being on the better end of their duels, which I guess is something that everybody wants to kind of do. But they don't try and give away a lot. The likes of Pinnock and Collins at the back, you've got two very physically dominant centre-halves, and they are lethal from set plays. It does seem that opposition can't really figure out Brentford's set plays, so instead of beating them, teams have just started nicking and appointing all of their coaches. But there's obviously a culture at Brentford that's leading to this sort of excellence at set plays. Now, the way their set pieces work usually involves rotations, bodies charging towards the area in where the ball is going to land. And player positioning and determination is what wins, especially when it comes to sort of second ball territory if they don't manage to get their head on it first. Aya's got a big role. He's the sort of big man that's looking to keep the ball in play and put the ball into a sort of certain area where Brentford are going to be able to maintain a goal threat. And all in all, they're going to pose a real big threat for us. And that means it'll be all eyes on Erik ten Hag. Star man for Brentford, I think he's going to be Mbeumo. He's impressed this season. I think he's very underrated. He's got 6 in 7, and 2 of them are first-minute goals, and 5 were in the first half. He's got a dangerous left foot, typically plays off the right, but he does occupy dangerous central areas inside the box. He strikes the ball real nice, and he's comfortably the star man. He just delivers output. In terms of United, with the recent news that we've got about Mainoo, United have got a bit of an issue in midfield, as well as the issue that we've got in defence, as well as the issue that nobody up front is scoring goals. So you can see why I'm going into this game really confidently. I would say Onana is probably the easiest decision that you're going to have to make this week in this. And I'm going to go with Dalot right back, De Ligt, Evans, and Martinez at left back. I think that's the best defence that we can get out. The other option really is like you play Lindelof at right back, keep Dalot left back, and keep Martinez at centre half. But I think Johnny Evans was so good in the last game, rested because of the international break. It should be Johnny Evans. Midfield, I think this is the game that you really need to see Ugarte. And I also think this is the game that you probably want to see Casemiro alongside Ugarte. And I could make the case that it should be Eriksen instead of Bruno, but it won't be. Well, it'll be Bruno. I could even make the case that you move Bruno over to the right-hand side in this game. And you play Eriksen and Casemiro and Ugarte, and you have a midfield that's actually going to go toe-to-toe with Brentford's midfield. But he won't. Now, if you play Bruno and you do what we've seen him kind of sort of allude to a little bit in a couple of games, where you play Bruno and it's actually looking more like a 4-3-3 with Ugarte as the single pivot and Casemiro and Bruno both given the license to dictate play, but also being asked to cover ground and track people, that could be a functional midfield. That's what I would like us to try and go for. 4-3-3. Let's just change the angles just a little bit. 4-3-3 rather than 4-2-3-1. And then I think Rashford, Ahmad, and Højlund. Højlund's been poor, though. So we have to find out whether he's fit or not. If he's not absolutely, chomping at the bit, you go with Xerxes. But all of that forward line, plus Bruno, Casemiro, etc., you need to start delivering goals. Simple as that. Now, this video, as always, like every single preview that we do, is brought to you by Hollywood Bets. And we've got another offer for you for the upcoming Premier League clash between United and Brentford. And here are my picks prior to the game. I am going with both teams to score. There's a pretty high likelihood of this, with both teams regularly conceding. The worry is United scoring, but I am going to go both teams to score at home. I think we get the job done. Total corners over 8.5. United and Brentford's combined corner average comfortably gets over 8.5, so we're going to go with that. In terms of the players, I'm going to go with Bueno to have a 1+ shot on target. He's averaging 1.5 to 2 shots per game at the moment on target, so I think that's going to be one of the easier stats for us to get in. And I'm going with Marcus Rashford to have a 1+ shot on target as well. He's averaging 2 to 3 shots per game, with about 1 to 2 of them being on target for most matches this season. Player cards, I'm going to say Johnny Evans is going to get carded. A little bit of nous, a little bit of maybe Bueno got away from him a little bit. So he's picking up a card, I think. And that's been boosted from 10 to 1 to 12 to 1. So if you place a £10 bet and it wins, you're going to get 130 quid back. Now, if you'd like to get involved in this bet boost, just click the link in the description. And if you're new to Hollywood Bets, you can create an account and take advantage of some of the other fantastic new customer offers that they've got. The link is in the description for that as well. And Hollywood Bets, I've got loads of exciting bonuses available for this weekend's fixtures, so make sure to go and check those out. Now, odds are subject to change. You must be at least 18 years of age to participate, and football, and especially Manchester United, can be incredibly unpredictable. So while the bet is designed to enhance your enjoyment of the game, it's important to remember, please gamble responsibly. And for more information on responsible gaming, check out begambleaware.org. Once again, it's brought to you by Hollywood Bets, so click the link in the description to get involved, or feel free to share what bets you're going for this weekend. Now, how do you beat these? Again, this is not the first time that we've said this, to be honest with you. It probably won't be the last time that we say it either. Play like you mean it. We've seen Benny McCarthy criticise the hunger of Manchester United players in a recent interview. Determination is the first requirement of any Manchester United player. Never be outworked. And of late, that's kind of slipped. Let's see that brought back into the mix. You know, as a squad, the lads have got to play like they mean it. They got to want it more than the opposition do. And if we don't, it'll cost Ten Hag his job. It should cost some of the players their jobs. But players are seen as sellable assets and managers are not, which is why you see that change happen more than players just getting the bullet. Secondly, I think midfield control, and I think a strong midfield presence is an absolute must. That's why I kind of wanted to go with like the most experienced midfield that we can put in, with the sort of legs and battling of Ugarte. And I think Ugarte brings that sort of steel that you require in there as well. You're going to have to break them down in defence, but you also provide a little bit of cover for the back line. And I think Casemiro is so key because he's so good at set plays. You notice that he gets on the end of stuff in the opposition half. You don't quite notice him getting on the end of stuff in our half, but he does. So with a team that's so dangerous when it comes to set plays, I think Casemiro is one of the first names on the team sheet this week. You could even make a case for Joshua Zirkzee to be on the team sheet, because he would be a big plus for United at both ends, because you're going to have to take into account the set plays of this game. And then I would say discipline. We've struggled in recent weeks with discipline, in terms of, yes, we've picked up loads of cards, including red cards, but just positioning. Like, positioning can be levels and levels better than it has been so far. You've seen Bruno lose his head. Lisandro Martinez has lost his head. We just got to be better than we have been doing. And I'm not just talking about, you know, losing your head and getting Marcus kicking out. Like, the discipline has got to be better. Be a little bit more mentally there as well. And then exploit the gaps, because one of the weaknesses of Brentford's tactical configuration is that they do leave big gaps. And if you're patient, you can stretch them. And by stretching the side, the likes of Højlund, Rashford could really shine and could really hurt them. So that's what we need to see. We just need to see United getting back into the groove of things again, because we started the season, things were looking bright. We've had a couple of setbacks and the wheels have kind of come off. I hope behind the scenes, whatever Ineos plans are have been communicated to Erik Ten Hag, so he can walk into the dressing room and put it on the players a little bit. Because you don't want the players sitting there going, if we lose, he's done today, so let's just fuck it off. You want him to go in there and say, or even have like the likes of Brailsford or Ashworth communicate it to the players as well, saying, manager's going fucking nowhere, lads, you need to put your ideas up. Because that's powerful. And that's what needs to happen. Anyway, thanks as always to Hollywood Bets. check the link in the description and go and support them because they're supporting this channel. Otherwise, take it easy, enjoy the game, and whether it's a win, a loss, or a draw, I'll be here afterwards to have a chat about it with you afterwards. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.